Bobby Miller struggled mightily, to say the least, in his 2025 debut for the Dodgers. On today's show, we're talking all Bobby Miller. What is wrong with Bobby? Is there a future here with Bobby Miller and the Los Angeles Dodgers? We'll be talking about all that and more coming up on another edition of the All Dodgers podcast. First, my name is Clint Pasillas. Find me as Real FRG on the social media platforms. I'm a longtime baseball writer, analyst. I talk about the Dodgers here a lot on the YouTube machine, including here on my All Dodgers channel. Please do subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, share with your friends. If you guys want to continue this conversation about Bobby Miller, if you can't watch live or you can't watch on YouTube, check out the show in its podcast form on Spotify, Apple. Rate and review the show there would really help out the channel. All the stuff is completely free. If you're looking for a different way to support the show as well, check out, we got Patreon set up, YouTube members, all that kind of stuff. But let's talk now about BP Bobby, because that's what we saw in Miller's 2025 debut. Hits on hits. He was spinning hits out there. 8 hits over 3 innings to be exact, raising his career hits per 9 to 8.9. Again, for every 9 innings, I guess you could say that's not good. It's not breaking news there to say that's not very good. I had questioned on the Twitter machine whether Bobby Miller was somebody who could be a consistent major league starter. And honestly, I just don't think it's in the cards for him, especially in a Dodger uniform. The expectations are kind of changed from when he made his debut with the team a couple years ago. And, we're going to talk honestly here about, why it sucks that he struggled, but it's not quite surprising. It continues a trend of being not all that great. And I'm trying to be I don't want to be a dick about this, basically. I don't want to be rude about Bobby or rude towards Bobby. I think he's trying his best. I think it's just, that this is kind of, as you see it on the screen, he is who we thought he is, because there were some rumblings about concerns from prospects, evaluators, as he was making his way up through the minor league system. Before we get into that, I do want to tell you about our friends at BetOnline. BetOnline, of course, is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season, of course, is in full swing. I'm going to be looking at that Dodgers Texas Rangers, particularly that Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Jacob deGrom start coming up on Friday. I'm going to be looking at making a wager on that game. I, of course, am taking the Dodgers. I am taking Yama. But we're also, if you're not a baseball person, I don't know why you're watching this show, but we're in the home stretch for NBA and NHL playoffs. Listen, BetOnline, there's more ways to stay in on the action. You got the latest odds. They got news, there's scores, even live in-game betting while games are being played. They have the largest selection of odds on everything from MLB, NHL, UFC. BetOnline remains your number one online source for sports wagering information, and in between games, you can head over to the BetOnline casino. There is a casino set up there. They have Vegas style games. It's pretty cool. You got poker, you got live casino, all that kind of stuff. So do check it out. BetOnline.ag. Tell them I sent you. I don't think you can do that, but do it either way. BetOnline. The game starts here, and Bobby Miller talk resumes now. Listen, when it comes to Bobby Miller, he's struggled almost kind of always. That's just a reality. Over parts of, let's go way back to the beginning, parts of 5 minor league seasons with the Dodgers, Bobby Miller has a 4.03 ERA over 56 games. Most of his good numbers, we'll say, came when he was in A-ball, so that was quite some time ago. In 17 AAA appearances in his career, he has a 4.24 ERA, and 23 AA appearances in his career, he has a 4.49 ERA. Both those numbers not very great. #analysis. But focusing on his time as a big leaguer, that's the most important thing for all of us. He's no doubt. There's no doubt that he has sprinkled in some great starts. Not even good, like really great starts in his career. Even a lot of people, when you watch his 2024 debut, he was electric. And then everything just really spiraled from that point on. So all of that is what adds to the frustration when you're talking about Bobby Miller, because it does seem like something is there. It seems like something is there. But let's go back because people like to focus on that 2023 season with Bobby Miller, the heralded 2023 season when he was good. I look at that, I should say, as kind of a symptom of the time. Let's remember that era, 2023, Dodgers didn't really have pitching, particularly at the time he was called up. And even when they called Bobby Miller up from AAA to make his major league debut in Atlanta, they didn't really want to because, frankly, he wasn't ready. He was not ready. He had struggled at AAA to open that season, 5.65 ERA in his first few starts there at AAA before he got the call up. He had a slow ramp up during spring training. Sorry, I don't want to move my hand in front of everybody, but listen, I get handsy when I'm talking about Bobby Miller. He did have a slow ramp up at spring training. I do recall talking to him at Camelback Ranch in the clubhouse. He was slow playing a shoulder injury that had kind of bugged him in the offseason. So slow ramp up there. He could be seen as somebody that was a little behind schedule at the point of his call up. But then again, you could also say, hey, it was late May when he made his debut for the Dodgers in 2023. But getting back to my point here of the Dodgers didn't have starting pitching at the time. Listen, Clayton Kershaw, he was injured. He was great. He was honestly great over the first few months of that season until that forearm started barking. And then, of course, it's been a lot of injury since then for Clayton Kershaw. But they had Clayton at that time. They had a bad version of Julio Urias, who would later be arrested and put on administrative leave by MLB. They also had Tony Gonsolin, who was literally pitching through a torn UCL in his elbow. None of those three dudes available for the team when it comes to the postseason, so that's worth noting. Noah effing Syndergaard. Thor was still there. And you guys remember the nightmares that was Thor by the end of his time in Dodger Blue before he was traded away to Cleveland for Amed Rosario for the first time or whatever, first of 9 times Amed Rosario's been with the Dodgers. Syndergaard was a Dodger. Michael Grove made 12 starts for the team that year. Michael Grove made 12 starts. And Lance Lynn was the big trade line addition for this team. It was bad. The starting rotation was bad. So Bobby, with his sterling 3.76 ERA, was kind of a godsend. But beyond the desperate need for Bobby Miller at the time, he kind of ingratiated himself to us in our minds because he was really, really good to open his career. He gave up just 2 earned runs over his first 4 starts, good for a 0.79 ERA over 23 innings. Small sample size, but from there, the league caught up. Over his next 7 starts, he posted a 6.63 ERA, sprinkled in some good, some bad the rest of the way. All told, he put together 6 starts where he allowed 4 earned runs or more. One of them was a 5-run outing. One of them was a 6-run outing. The other one was a 7-run outing. Not good. Not so good. There was a few starts mixed in there. Gave up 3 earned runs. Others where he allowed 1 or 2. So every bit of a mixed bag, we're going to say there when you're talking about Bobby. But again, they needed him. The Dodgers needed him desperately at the time. And, that 2023 season, this is one we all very painfully remember. It was capped off with a terrible, terrible start against the Diamondbacks in the NLDS. He couldn't even get out of the second inning in that start. And, then our final hope was Lance Lynn. And yeah, all in all, a bad end cap to an up and down debut season. Flash forward, 2024, again, opened really nice, but overall, I think it's fair to say awful in 2024. I think Bobby would agree with that as well. 8.52 ERA over 13 scattered starts. We don't need to dive a lot into it. Banished to AAA. We're told he has some sort of injury. I think it was a hip or a knee thing. Maybe the injury was to blame and everything could be all right after an off season where he feels good and gets his mojo back, I guess we could say. But everything just might not be all right. And what we've seen, what I've seen from Bobby Miller is what we were kind of warned about. What prospects evaluators, talent evaluators warned us about on his way up through the minor leagues. So let's talk stuff. Let's talk about scouting report as well. But, his stuff. We're talking about fastball, his curveball, the changeup. We're talking about stuff. Also, a mixed bag there. Like, obviously he has stuff like to a degree. A 99-mile-an-hour fastball that plays. Like you can't sleep on 99. But man, that fastball is just, it's flat. There's not a lot of run. He needs some movement one way or the other. He needs that fastball to do some sort of activity. One again, right or left, or big league hitters are going to hit 999. They're going to hit. Well, 999 is a good deal, I guess, but they're going to hit a 99-mile-per-hour fastball. I will say, people who watch this channel know I have no desire to deep dive into metrics and numbers. That's not what this channel is about. But did look up some numbers just to kind of help me refresh what I thought I had remembered about Bobby Miller. And I'll say, baseball savant, not the biggest fan of Bobby Miller when you talk about, value added or valuable pitches. So that's one thing. And you can kind of see it on the mound when you're watching, and particularly in that debut against the Rockies there. But I will talk about, I don't want to talk about the numbers, but I want to talk about what I remember reading and digesting, again, from the prospects evaluators, the talent evaluators, Baseball America, Baseball Prospectus, MLB Pipeline, those type of dudes, Fangraphs, some of those guys as well. Some of the things they said as he was making his way up through the minor leagues, and he was, one of the top prospects in baseball and all this. Some of the things he said have proven out to be quite accurate. One, this is a direct quote, by the way. His fastball does not have overwhelming movement. That's something we've seen. That's something we've talked about it on Dodgers territory as well. He struggles when pitching out of the stretch. Check. So far right there. They also spoke about his at-times struggle with pitch sequencing. Like, he's not going to be fooling as many hitters with a slider going off the plate, darting off the plate, coming off of a fastball, low and away, because usually his fastball is kind of more of a high fastball that I can remember, high, middle zone, but more. Again, I said I'm not going to get too much into this, but the sequencing isn't always great. I'm just going to do that because I don't want to make this a very long video. I just want to get to a point here that we can all hopefully somewhat agree with. I do want people's thoughts on Bobby Miller, but one last concern, is the snowball inning that we can see. And we saw that in his debut against the Rockies this year. You've seen the bloop and a walk that usually leads to disaster rather than the tightrope walk for Bobby Miller. So all in all, he's somebody that, he is who we thought he would be. He is who we were told he would be. He has some holes in his game. With that picture painted, let's talk about his future. I think that's ultimately where we're at as Dodgers fans, Dodgers watchers. Talk about his future with the organization, because again, along the way we've seen some good, and that's what makes it like so tough. You want to hold on to that, you want to harness that, you hope it can come back, but we've also seen plenty of bad. The numbers have been rough at times, and I've seen enough to say, and again, this was something I had tweeted on the X. I guess you can't tweet on X anymore, but you can post there. I've seen enough to say that Bobby Miller just plainly doesn't have the tools, the complete package to be a consistent major league starting pitcher. I'll add, definitely while not while being in a Dodger uniform. I think that's a problem. It's a problem up here as well. That's a factor, and the expectations that come with being in a Dodger uniform definitely not helping him and his stuff, and more so trying to perform and outperform the expectations so he can stick around. He's looking at 10 dudes ahead of him on the depth chart. That's a lot for the kid, 100%. Like, he's only 26. He's got a future ahead of him, but here might be a tough, it's a tough landing point for Bobby Miller. Is the bullpen a better spot for him? Because we have seen the strikeout stuff. He struck out a lot of Rockies in that bad debut, allowed a lot of hits. But listen, I know people I trust that believe that Bobby Miller simplifying the arsenal, simplifying the thought process, that would go a long way in translating to success for him. In the bullpen, you take his two best pitches, you go let it eat for one inning. The one inning, that's a big factor there too. I love the idea of the one inning. I'm a fan of that idea. I know a number of people online are fans of that idea. I'm sure you guys here in the comments, which is also online, feel strongly about the idea that Bobby would probably be better, maybe even succeed as a major league reliever, but I don't know what a reliever is. But the better question I'll ask is, would a change of scenery better suit Bobby Miller and the rest of his career, where maybe he goes somewhere else, he can be a starter, but more importantly, reset the expectations, put the failures behind him, just go out there and compete. You know you got good stuff. You do know you have 99 on the fastball. Go out there, have some fun again, and not try to make a starting rotation. Just be a part of a starting collective elsewhere. So, listen, if we're being honest with ourselves, you know, absolutely the change of scenery would probably help him out a whole bunch. Again, purely based on the starting pitching options this Dodgers team has. He's so far down. Bobby Miller is so far down on the depth chart that he would need to be perfect even to earn an opportunity, especially going forward. And Dave Roberts kind of already said as much, like this is going to be his one opportunity. This was before the start, because they have other guys coming back. They have other guys they believe in a little bit more than him. So he has to be perfect to earn that opportunity. And after that start, like a lot of pets' heads would need to fall off for him to get another opportunity again. So as the season goes along, more help is going to come for this Dodgers. More help is going to show up. Guys will be returning from injuries in their rehabs, like Clayton Kershaw, Tony Gonsolin. Blake Snell will be back in the rotation. Shohei Ohtani will eventually join. Top prospects are going to be ready. Guys like Nick Frasso, Jackson Ferris, those guys are going to be ready. The opportunities will be few and far in between for Bobby Miller to make an impact, with this club. And yeah, that's in a best case scenario for him. Again, if there's a bunch of injuries, wouldn't be good for the club. It'd be good for him to get another opportunity. But let's cap it with this. His time as a contributor for the Los Angeles Dodgers, especially if he's going to go out there like in a starting capacity, it may have reached its end. That's just the reality. But I do want to know what you guys think. Do you think this story is finished with Bobby Miller and the Dodgers, even if they might not believe it yet? We may never see him again. We don't know. Can he figure it out, or will he be kind of one of the next former first-round pick flame-out type of dudes? I'm very interested in hearing what people have to say, reading what people have to say, engaging with folks about Bobby Miller. Big Game Bob, as some call him. I call him Batting Practice Bobby. If you're nasty, you can call him that too. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this show. Please consider giving the video a thumbs up. If you watched it here on the YouTube, share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel if you would not mind. We're trying to get to 20,000 subscribers, just past 15,000 not too long ago. Thank you very much for that. Again, my name is Clint Pasillas. Find me as Real FRG on the social media machines. All Dodgers is presented by Bet Online. Go check them out. Go make your wagers on your boys in blue. And we'll see you on the next one.